All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J Boone here for Smash This Podcast. Coming at you on a Monday night, reviewing the last episode of Lucha Underground. But before I get into that, just want to remind you folks, if you are new to the channel, there's plenty more of this where this came from. Go check it out in your spare time. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. So this was probably, I don't know. I always hear a decent amount of positive for Lucha Underground episodes on my feed. What people like, people replay the gifs of the moves they like from the episode, from the action, or talk about, oh my God, this happened, that happened. This is the first one where I actually saw a little bit of negativity in reviews and stuff, and I was a little surprised. But this episode was a little off. I don't know how to. I'm not going to say it was a bad episode. There were significant things that happened in this episode that go along with all the storytelling that this season is doing so much of. And that's a lot of storytelling. And sometimes the storytelling, it may not go with what you think is going to happen. Sometimes you get a little surprised or a little shocked. And maybe that's what is throwing people off. As far as the wrestling wise, I didn't see anything wrong with the wrestling. I mean, there was some really good wrestling. There was some wrestling in this episode that seemed a little different. Like, all right, well, let's get into this. This is season 4, episode 8. Man, we're a third of the way, it's a third. Yeah, it's a third of the way through the season. And it's hard to believe that we're already that far. But we are. So, episode 8, The Ranks of the Reptiles. We start out with a match, a one-on-one match, which ends in another brawl. A lot of fun, though. We get Daga versus PJ Black. And I think that right there might have been something that threw off some fans, because we haven't seen Daga or PJ Black do a lot of one-on-one stuff yet. Chuck B's in the chat tonight. If you find a cube of ham in your hams, you get a free case. What? Cheers to you, Chuck. That reminds me, I got to get more beer. I got my last 2 sitting right here. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Good evening, Chuck. How you doing? So yeah, I mean, we saw a different wrestling style from PJ Black that I think was a lot more, not relaxed, a lot more slower paced than usual. A lot more mat based, whereas he's more high flying. And I haven't seen enough Daga wrestling to like, oh well, he's this style or that style. Obviously, he's he fits in Lucha Underground, but you know, and I like the match. I thought the two. I love the rivalry that they've got these two groups just grinding on each other. That you get some good wrestling out of this, and then everybody jumps in and everybody's just clobbering. I'm okay with that. You know, it's and I don't know. So that's not jiving with some people. I don't know. But out come Vibra and Drago after Daga gets a win from PJ Black. PJ Black actually taps out. Excuse me. And then Johnny, Ricky, and Taya come out. Still no Evans because he no like a snakes, or reptiles or or any of that. Ricky, just I don't know. Ricky's just having a rough season. He's really off. He stumbled getting in the ring, backed up, hit Vibra. Vibra just knocked him the hell out with a headbutt. And then it was just chaos from there. Cobra Moon, after then all the chaos and the two split up, then Cobra Moon and Johnny Mundo go back and forth. Cobra Moon telling Johnny that he's going to join them and that both groups are going to fight each other next week. So I don't know if we're going to get just a regular tag match, because what happens at the end of this episode seriously takes out some of the numbers in this rivalry big time. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I like the segment, but I can understand why it might, you know, it was a different pace of wrestling than what I think people are accustomed to when they see Daga and PJ Black. Maybe that's what threw him off. I don't know. I dug it. I like these guys going at it. So, we then get a segment, referring to the flashback intro of this episode. It was a segment of Big Rick, and we haven't seen him since season 1. So the fact that we saw him in the flashback was like, oh, well, that's interesting. How's he going to tie in with this episode? It's like, is he coming back? Well, he did, but not really. So Katrina scares the shit out of Willie Mack, and they're talking, and what does he say? He's like, somebody should put a bell on you, because she just, you know, scared the hell out of him. And then she was saying that death is swirling all around you, similar to how death was swirling around your cousin Big Rick, or she said something to that effect. And then the locker popped open, and there is Big Rick's skull and a patch and a stogie hanging out of the mouth. Just, I mean, it was just, you know, skull style of Big Rick. And it was like, yeah, Willie Mack had to sit down. He was taken back. He was like, oh my God, my cousin's dead. So inadvertently, we lost someone from 3 seasons ago in this episode, as in Katrina and Mil Muertes took out Big Rick to get revenge on the Mac. Really interesting way of doing that. I like that. The fact that they had a throwback to season 1 and tied it into this season, and it's just the psychology of it was, I think it's good storytelling, you know. So obviously this is heating up the rivalry big time. Now it's getting personal between the Mac and Muertes. And, well, because of what Mac did to Muertes. So it obviously didn't help the headspace of what happened in the next match. Oh, before we have that, Dragon Azteca Jr. is in the ring cutting a promo about his Gift of the Gods championship, and that he says he'll fight anyone, but he plans on keeping it until Ultima Lucha Cuatro 4. So basically the end of the season finale, the big shindig at the end of season 4. So just, he doesn't get a lot of promo time. So it was just kind of nice to see him out there, and he was like half Spanish, half English, which is fine. It is what it is. It's the culture, so it's all good. Then we get a trios championship match. So we get some really good wrestling out of this. We also get a few comedic moments. We get the Rabbit Tribe, London, Saltador, and Mala Suerte versus the trios champions, Son of Havoc, Killshot, and the Mac. Killshot gets the win here, basically steals it from the Mac, who put the finisher on him. He put the splash on him at the end of the match, and Killshot tags him as he's jumping, or just right before he jumps, and then Quick runs in and steals the pin from him, and he's got this just nasty look on his face, like, yeah, I did that. What are you going to do about it? And then he stands up and he grabs the belts. And as all this is going down, all this like nasty, stare down between Mac and Killshot, Son of Havoc is like, hey, we won. Great. He doesn't realize what is happening in the ring until he gets handed a belt, and he's like, the hell was that? And Killshot does the same thing to Mac, and Mac is like, oh, come on, dude. Really? What the hell's up with this? The look on his face was priceless. And Vampiro, called it perfect. He described exactly what was going on. He saw the look in his eyes, and he saw what was happening on the looks on their faces and everything. So even though this match might have been a little weird, it's good storytelling, continuing the stress on the team of the trios champions. I think they're still fan favorites, and yet there's a lot of tension there. We still don't know what's going on with Dante Fox. I'm sure we're going to find out soon enough, because we only got, 2/3 of a season to go. But I know he's in this season somewhere. We saw him in the trailer. So it's gonna, the tension's rising. Something big is gonna happen. I can't wait to see what. So a lot of tension. I mean, and I feel bad for Son of Havoc. Son of Havoc is like, woohoo, I'm a trios champion again, defended it solidly, and yet my teammates can't get on the same page from like last season, It's like 2 years ago and shit. Anyways. But nonetheless, solid, but what's also interesting is because the Rabbit Tribe, with the leader of the White Rabbit, Cross, what is he going to do? Because they haven't been doing real good in the ring. He's guiding them, and they've got this new dark, I don't know what you call it, influence, and they can't get the job done. So that's another part of this story. You know, it's not just, oh, okay, this team fought this team. No, there's a bigger picture here. And I think some people are missing that when they're watching this. Then we get the main event. We get, we are told that it's Cage versus Pentagon in a tag match, and each person is going to choose their tag team partner, and we don't know until match time. So Cage is out there. He picks King Cuerno. Very interesting. Obviously, they both want to be champion. And there's also that other bigger cross story with Cuerno and Cueto. So, you know, there's that looming in the background from a few episodes ago that's going on. And the Pentagon comes out and he's like, I don't need a partner. I'll take you both on and I'll win. And the crowd's like, whoa. I mean, he says it in Spanish, but it's in so many words like that. So, everybody's shocked and amazed. Pentagon is solo. And the psychology of, this match also seemed a little weird because it was 2-on-1. But if you cut it deep and you look at the psychology of this, it was brilliant because Pentagon was doing all this stuff to Cage and all this stuff to Cuerno. Cage, Cuerno, back and forth. And they just made him wear the hell out of himself until he had nothing left because Cuerno and Cage looked like they were not putting a ton of effort into this match. That's what also made the match feel a little weird. But watching this back right before I went live now, I was like, oh, it's brilliant. They made Pentagon wear the hell out of himself, and then they kicked his ass. And then after Cuerno, I forget what Cuerno did to him. Did one of his signature moves, and then Cage was like, all right, I got this. Thank you. You can go home now. And and Cuerno was good with that. He was like, all right, my job is done. You know, he wasn't like, no, I'm staying. He didn't fight it. Nothing. He was just like, okay, that's good. I'm out. And Cage gave him the drill claw. Cocky yet confidently pinned him 1, 2, 3, and then gave him a couple concertos for dessert. Pentagon, how's that steel chair taste? Maybe next time put some chocolate syrup on it or something. Probably definitely want some Modelo's after that one, right? But then the big storybook ending to this episode, we get a flashback from the season 4 trailer where it looks like Johnny Mundo and the Temple of Lucha. Or is it Johnny Mundo and the Temple of Boone? I don't know. I was trying to think of something cool and, you know, it's a throwback to Indiana Jones. You know, it's a play on Hollywood. So, you know, it's funny. I like it. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. There's a fight scene. They walk in, they see Drago chained up. Hey, Agent, thank you. The second title works. All right. Thank you. And then Vibra's there. They turn around, they see Vibra. He super kicks the hell out of Taya and knocks her out. And then Vibra grabs Mundo and then quick puts him in a headlock, and he's choking him out. He's fading. We're loca. Comes to her senses, starts waking up, grabs a baseball bat, chop blocks him. That knocks down the giant. And then one more swing of the bat, and boom, he's down. And Taya is like, we're going to cut off his head now. You said take the head off the snake. We're going to take the head off the snake. So she takes what I think is Daga's sword from next to the throne. The big gold chair. Oh, goodness. And off with his head. She cuts off Vibra's head, taking him out. And then Boone turns around as they're leaving, grabs his hat, puts it on his head, looks at Drago. We weren't here. And they leave. And then, Drago lets out a... So we lost 2 people in this episode. 2. We lost Vibra, Luchasaurus, and Big Rick, who wasn't even in this season, but they brought him back to kill him, or to reveal his death. You know what I mean? So yeah, crazy. There's so much death in this season. The death toll is just crazy. I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to worry a little because we've lost so many people. And that's not to say that people can't come back. I mean, we've seen some characters have like 2 or 3 characters throughout the course of 4 seasons of Lucha Underground, which is fine. But just knowing all the contract situation and some people wanting out of their contracts because some were tied into like multiple season contracts and they wanted out so that they can do other things, and then they relaxed the whole TV thing. It's like you can be on TV, just not WWE and all that stuff. It's great that a lot of these guys are getting on more TV. I mean, you've got Pentagon, Phoenix, and Callahan are all over the place. Well, Pentagon and Phoenix are in CMLL, AAA, well, Lucha Underground, Impact, and MLW, amongst other places. So they're all over the place. Callahan's on Impact. He did a stint in New Japan, MLW. Shane Strickland had a hell of a weekend. I didn't watch it yet, but I saw highlight clips. He just beat Riddle for the Evolve Championship. So Strickland is Evolve champion. He was also recently MLW champ. There's also more TV shows popping up like Ringmasters that Marty the Moth is popping up on. Marty the Moth also was on AAA stuff not too long ago. The people from Lucha Underground are popping up everywhere. It's ridiculous. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I think it's awesome. If I can get a bunch of my favorites on a bunch of different shows, and I don't feel like I'm missing 3-hour Raws at all. Honestly, I'm not. I got Impact. I'm trying to catch up on MLW. I got Lucha Underground. Ringmasters is another new one that's going to have Jeff Cobb on it, Aries, Marty the Moth, amongst a bunch of others. It's folks, it's a crazy ass time to be a wrestling fan. Seriously, it's there's more and more shows popping up. And if you haven't heard of Ringmasters, they've been doing these daily and weekly updates. It's going to be on WGN. Tapings are going on this coming weekend, and it starts in September. And you can go check out the social media and find out all the different people that are supposed to be booked for it and stuff. Yes, Chuck B. Impact is great right now. They have an incredibly solid roster, great wrestling, good storytelling. So yeah, I mean, stuff that's the guys that are, still on contract with Lucha Underground and some are getting out of it. Like, there's a lot of question marks this season. We don't know if people are just dying off because they're getting out of their contracts or if they're going to still be used in future seasons. I think I know there's going to be a season 5. I know they have to work on a new place because they had to go to the Ice Temple because they couldn't get the original temple. And the Ice Temple was one and done. There is no more Ice Temple. They had to, it was condemned right after they got done filming it over the course of that, February to March, whatever that was. So there is no more Ice Temple. But the content that they're getting from it so far this season is incredible. I love it. All the different sets that they've had, the white, crosses set with the White Rabbit, this temple that they were just in, the new rings set up. It's just, I love it. Oh, Matanza's cell, the next victim of Killer Cross. Which agent, which show? Cross is everywhere. Cross is. I got a feeling Cross is going to be taking out a lot of people in Lucha Underground very soon. But I don't know if he's going to get in the ring. I don't know. I have not heard anything. So any of them at this point, yes, absolutely. So that's it for this one. Thank you for joining live. And so, yeah, I did, like I said, I did hear some negative responses from this this episode as far as reviews and stuff, but it's a Natural Born Killers vibe. Wow, I haven't seen that movie in forever. I'm gonna have to look that one up and go watch that one. I haven't watched that since that came out in the 90s? Probably almost 20 years ago. Damn. So yeah, but and just to remind people, I'm not saying that every single episode and every single match is going to be a 5-star thing. That everyone's just going to be losing their head and saying it's the greatest stuff. I still think, it's one of the best things on TV for wrestling content. And if you like, sci-fi, adventure, whatever, all rolled into one show, it's quite the package. Time travel. I mean, you name it, you got it on this show. But just remember that there's a lot of stories going on from the last look what happened in this episode. We had Big Rick come back that they revealed that he was killed. That's a throwback from 4 seasons ago. That's crazy. It's always some degree of storytelling. And don't forget that, folks. If you feel like the episode's a little off and you're not feeling it, just remember there's a bigger picture with all these groups that everybody's fighting for one thing, and that's, you know, the Lucha Underground Championship in a place in this different universe where there's gods and dragons and reptiles and time travelers, and when the gods kill you in the ring, and then poof, you're out of there like a, you know, they took the pizza eater, the pizza deliverer, and the pizza. What other show are you going to get that, folks? Seriously. It's crazy. I'm still waiting for someone to start the petition to bring back Vinny Massaro from the dead. Maybe something will happen at the end of this episode. It'll be like one big kibosh, and we'll find everybody in one place in some other weird dimension and say, poof, okay, now you're all back in the temple. And then I don't know. I'm like way overthinking this, but it's just, you know, you never know with this show. Seriously. Hell, we saw a shadow of Rey Mysterio in the distance. We could still see him. Who knows? We don't know. Who knows? So, so that's it for this one. I'm rambling now. Let's Vibra this one out of here. So thanks for joining, folks. I don't know what I'm doing next. Obviously, Lucha's in a couple days again. We're gonna try to start doing reviews for MLW. Sneak them in here somewhere. The new one's up there. Looks like we got Callahan versus Strickland. That's sick. That 40-man battle riot was absolutely nuts. I didn't review it yet. I feel like, okay, it's past. I kind of missed the boat on that one. I wanted to start reviewing with that one, and I missed it, so whatever. It is what it is. I'll jump in there sometime and start reviewing them because it looks like there's some really good stuff. Oh, before I forget, Matt Stryker was on the last one. That battle riot, the 40-man battle riot. I saw someone say on Twitter, oh, is he jumping from Lucha Underground to MLW? I don't mind if he's on both, but I don't want him to leave Lucha Underground. I have not heard anything as far as Matt Stryker's done with Lucha Underground. I haven't heard anything. If this was his last season, God, I hope not. I love him and Vampiro together. Well, like I said, we got 2/3 of a season to go. Maybe Vampiro kills him. I don't know. Oh my God. Then who's gonna call it? Who would call the Lucha Underground stuff? Josh Matthews?